This is Abdul Malik Hashmi, and you are watching my YouTube channel. Three Samadhis of Sikh royal family. The three Samadhis, or the tombs of three Sikh Maharanis, are located in the vicinity of the present-day Islamia College Civil Lines, Lahore, or which was previously known as DAV, or Dayanand Anglo Vedic College, Lahore. This place has a very interesting history, as the Sikh period started, and once Ranjit Singh was in power,
the Maharaja had with his own children. One of his almost most remarkable facets was his ability to be able to maintain a kind of peace within his own court. His own court, which was built, his own reign, kingship, which was built within his own.
This portion of the garden was set aside for the future Samadhis of the royal women. Raj Kaur. The first Samadhi that exists in the vicinity of Islamia College Civil Lines is the tomb of Maharani Raj Kaur. She was the second wife of Ranjit Singh. She had to change her name as the mother of Maharaja Ranjit Singh had the same name. So she came to call Rani Datar Kaur, who the Maharaja lovingly called Mai Nakain, after her father Sardar Ran Singh Nakai. Mai Nakain was the mother of Maharajah Kharak Singh.
You see they're royal, they've got attendants beside them, and both of them have fly whisks, which are symbols of royalty. And on the right is Karak Singh. He's the eldest son of Maharaja Ranjit Singh and his Ranjit Singh's successor.
And the grandmother of the Sikh hotspur, Prince Nau Nehal Singh.
This painting is sitting opposite him, and they look very much like a family at ease with itself, but clearly they were not.
Mai Nakain died on the 20th of June 1838. The Samadhi was damaged badly by the British as they set off to build their police lines next to the District Court of Lahore. Maharani Chand Kaur. The next Samadhi is of the wife of Maharaja Kharak Singh, known as Maharani Chand Kaur. She was the powerful woman who sought power as the ruler after the mysterious death of her husband, Maharaja Kharak Singh, who experts believe was poisoned by the powerful Dogra chief Dayanand Singh Dogra.
Because the truth is that Karak Singh was an opium addict, a hopeless drunk, and he really didn't have any of his father's qualities as either a leader or with any of the kind of restraint and discipline that his father clearly had as a military leader. Some 18 months after he took over as he became Maharaja, and about 12 months after both his son and his chief minister were slowly poisoning him with white lead and mercury, Karak Singh was dead.
As Chand Kaur's son, Nau Nehal Singh, was returning from the cremation of his father to claim the throne, another mysterious incident took his life when the archway of Roshni Gate fell on him.
Karak Singh was dead. The next morning, of course, Nau Nehal Singh performed the very acts that Karak Singh had performed for his father. The body was taken to the River Ravi. It was covered in reeds and oil. He lit the funeral pyre. He bathed himself in the river, and then as he was walking back, and he walked back on foot as an act of reverence to this sad day, as he was walking back through the city through one of the gates of the ancient gates of Lahore, the gate collapsed. So Nau Nehal Singh, who had been Maharaja for just literally a morning, was crushed under falling masonry. Now, white eyewitnesses at the event say that they saw him come out of the masonry, but he was quickly put on a palanquin and taken up to a state apartment. A few hours later, when those apartment doors were open, his head was completely smashed in. Most historians agree that this was a royal assassination, and probably an assassination performed by the Chief Minister, Dayanand Singh. So within the space of 24 hours, Punjab had lost two Maharajas.
So, Maharani Datar Kaur staked her claim as regent for the unborn successor to the throne and became the Empress of the Sikh Empire. She remained regent for approximately 2.5 months. She challenged Sher Singh, the second son of Maharaja Ranjit Singh and the stepbrother of her husband Karak Singh.
Succession for Nau Nehal Singh wasn't clear, and it was the subject of much infighting amongst the family. But the ultimate winner in that was Nau Nehal Singh's mother, the recent widow of Karak Singh, who took power, who acquired power and became the first Maharani of the Punjab, but in the name of Nau Nehal Singh's widow Sahib Kaur, who was pregnant. The agreement being that if Sahib Kaur gave birth to a male child, that infant would become Maharaja.
But she abandoned her claim when Sahib Kaur delivered a stillborn son. She was awarded pension of 900,000 rupees and for a while lived in her late son's palace known as Haveli of Nau Nehal Singh in Lahore. However, she had made an enemy of Dayanand Singh Dogra.
The aforementioned Dayanand Singh Dogra, the father of Hira Singh, who's painted here, was very ambitious for him.
Dayanand Singh replaced the maidservants who poisoned her food. They eventually killed her.
1842 ਚ ਮਹਾਰਾਜਾ ਰਣਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਨੂੰਹ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਸਾਹਿਬਜ਼ਾਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਟਿੱਕਾ ਖੜਕ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਾਅਦ ਮਹਾਰਾਜਾ ਵੀ ਬਣਿਆ ਖੜਕ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਣੀ ਚੰਦ ਕੌਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਥੋੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਲਈ ਲਾਹੌਰ ਤਖਤ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਬੈਠੀ ਹੋਈ ਜਦੋਂ ਹਸਬੈਂਡ ਖੜਕ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਉਸ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੌਰ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਡੋਗਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬੜੇ ਟ੍ਰਿਕ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਫਿਰ ਜੰਮੂ ਲੈ ਗਏ ਜੀ ਔਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰਾ ਖਜ਼ਾਨਾ ਸੀ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਵੀ ਔਰ ਫਿਰ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਜ਼ਿਸ਼ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਧਿਆਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਡੋਗਰੇ ਨੇ ਨੌਕਰਾਣੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਜੰਮੂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਸੇ ਦੀਆਂ ਹੀ ਰਖਵਾਈਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਸੁੱਤੀ ਪਈ ਚੰਦ ਕੌਰ ਨੂੰ ਰਾਤ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੱਥਰ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ ਮਾਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜੀ ਔਰ ਉਹਦਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਖਜ਼ਾਨਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਡੋਗਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਲੁੱਟ ਲਿਆ
Today, Victoria School is housed in the historical building of the Haveli of Nau Nehal Singh, located inside Bhatigate. She was cremated near the Samadhi of her mother-in-law, Mai Nakain. Sher Singh became Maharaja on 27th January 1841.
And Sher Singh is the son from Ranjit Singh's first wife, Rani Datar Kaur. And we can see Sher Singh here seated on the golden throne that Maharaja Ranjit Singh commissioned. That throne is now at the Victoria and Albert Museum.
Sadly, he was killed by his cousin, Ajit Singh Sandhyawala, on 15 September 1843. Sahib Kaur. The third Samadhi is of Sahib Kaur. She was the daughter-in-law of Chand Kaur and the daughter of Attari Jat chief Sham Singh Attari. She was the wife of Nau Nehal Singh. Saipko passed away in 1841. The smaller Samadhi of Saipko is between the Samadhis of the two Maharanis.
Videos, please subscribe my YouTube channel.